In this world, everything is measured. Power, value, respect. From the moment you are born, a level mark is engraved on your wrist. A single number that decides your entire future. A high level means a life of luxury, of power, of being seen. A low level means a life of survival, of struggling just to get by. But zero is not supposed to exist. The evaluation hall was massive, its high ceiling swallowing all sound. It was cold and silent, a place of judgment. Hundreds of us stood in perfectly straight lines, our futures hanging in the balance. At the center of it all, a giant screen displayed names and levels. One by one, destinies were forged. Level 87, the hall erupted in applause. Envious smiles spread across faces, a secured future. Another name flashed. Level 52. A deep sigh of relief. At least it wasn't a single digit. Then, it was my turn. Adam. I'd always been ordinary. Never stood out. Never caused trouble. People said my only remarkable feature was my eyes. Too calm, they said. Too quiet for someone my age. I stepped forward and placed my hand on the cold surface of the scanner. The device hummed, then vibrated with a low thrum. The screen flickered, then froze. For a moment, a single, agonizing moment, the hall held its breath. Then, the whispers started, like snakes slithering through the silence. And then the number appeared. 0. Absolute silence. It stretched for 2 seconds. Then 3, and then it shattered. Laughter, loud, mocking, cruel. It crashed over me in waves. Someone whispered, loud enough for everyone to hear, "Is that a malfunction? The machine must be broken." Another voice, dripping with scorn, laughed back. "Level 0? That's not even human." The instructor strode forward, his face a mask of grim duty. He tapped the device, checked its readings, and then his eyes fell on me. He didn't look at me like a student. He looked at me like I was something broken, something to be discarded. His voice was as cold and sharp as ice. "Leave." I stood alone in the center of that vast hall. 1,000 pairs of eyes were on me. Some held a flicker of pity. Others, open disgust. But most were filled with amusement, as if I were the punchline to a joke they'd all been waiting for. The instructor raised his voice, his words echoing off the walls. A public decree of my failure. The Academy does not accept defective cases. He paused, letting the weight of his next words sink in. Level 0 is a burden to this world. A burden. That single word shattered something deep inside me. I felt my fists clench, my knuckles turning white. Then, just as quickly, they relaxed. I said nothing. I showed nothing. I turned around and walked out. Outside the Academy gates, the rain was falling. A light, gentle drizzle, but it felt endless. I stood there, looking at the place I had dreamed of entering my entire life, the place I had just been expelled from. People passed by me, their footsteps quick and purposeful. No one glanced my way. It was as if I didn't exist. I was invisible, a ghost in my own life. I whispered the words to myself, tasting them on my tongue. "I'm 0. A faint, bitter smile crossed my face, but it never reached my eyes. I ended up in a narrow alley, a forgotten space between 2 towering buildings. I slid down the grimy brick wall and sat on the cold, damp ground. The city loomed above me, tall, powerful, suffocating. A city built for the strong. A city with no place for a 0. I leaned my head back against the wall, the rain mingling with the wetness on my cheeks. I murmured into the empty air, "If I'm just a number, why was I even born?" For a long time, the only answer was the whisper of the rain. Then, another sound. A voice. It wasn't from outside. It resonated from within, calm, deep, and strangely familiar. Because 0 is not the end. I snapped my head up, looking around the empty alley. My heart hammered against my ribs. The voice continued, echoing not in my ears, but in my mind. Numbers start from 1, but systems are built on 0. A darkness began to pool in the air before me. It wasn't a shadow. It was something more profound, something that seemed to devour the light itself. A patch of pure nothingness. And from that void, the voice spoke one final sentence. "Do you accept? To begin from nothing?" Slowly, I pushed myself to my feet. My legs felt shaky, but my mind was clear. I looked down at my hand, at the damning mark on my wrist, at the number 0. And for the first time since it appeared, I felt no shame, no despair, only a strange, quiet pride. I said the words quietly, a promise to myself. If I am nothing, I lifted my gaze and looked straight into the swirling darkness. Then I have nothing left to lose, and I reached out my hand.